All right. How's this going? Not so bad, not so bad. Audio seems decent. We got audio there. I'm on the right audio, that's good. More practicing today, per usual. I'm sure we'll get into other stuff. But I've got some sweet F major to do. Let's see. Might as well go ahead and pull this up. What are we doing here? Behrman. It's not the best PDF ever, right? But it's all there, I think. Let's make sure. Yeah, it's all there. Howdy, howdy. I'm just going to get right to work. If anybody sees anything and wants to chat, please do. Otherwise, I'm getting right to it. Gotta get my metronome ready. Here it is. Let's turn this down. Oh. Turn my ringer off. All right, let's start nice and slow. We're not gonna have a long stream tonight. Let's see what it sounds like today. Well, it's definitely been a long day and I'm tired, just tired. But still do the practicing, still got work to do. Well, a couple of viewers. Hello, any comments, concerns? Do I know you? Let's go to 60. Wrong key. Hey Jay, how's it going? What have you been up to? You're talking about the Mushinsky, right? Just the second and third movements, or were you doing both of them? That's great to hear. That's hard enough. Hard enough, just the second movement. It went really well. How many more rehearsals do you have before your performance? Meanwhile, faster. I don't know why, but for some reason I thought your performance was in March, but it's like a jury. And it's, what is it, like next week? It's February 8th. Am I making that up? I could just be making up dates. Oh, that's really soon. Saturday. So what are you prepping between now and then? Are you doing run-throughs? Are you just looking for great reads? What's the preparation like? I was out of town. I went to New York for the weekend and a couple of days on either side, and then there were New Year's activities yesterday, and apparently I say Sunland Phylok too softly. But it's super fun, lots of great food. Saturday preparation. Mushinsky on a Saturday. You only play in front of a judge, and anyone that wants to listen, judge gives you a rating, and based on that, you get gold. It's like solo and ensemble kind of thing. Great. Just one judge? That's not enough judges. Needs to be more. Going to state. Is state like a similar competition, or what are the prizes? Just gold and silver and bronze? Doing run-throughs, working on parts you're struggling on a bit. Great. Do you ever have like performance anxiety or nerves? Ooh, now I have the hiccups. I used to have a lot of nerves problems. Um, it's it was really a pain, you know. Like, and then I would get nervous, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to play poorly," and I'm going to get more nervous, and by the end of it, my air freezes up. Um, and two things helped me. I don't know if they'll help you, but I give them freely. Two things. One, I practiced a lot, like, but it wasn't so much like right before the gig, but I practiced a lot slowly to make sure that from the very beginning I'm not playing wrong notes. That's why I do a lot of metronome work, getting very slow and then going faster. But the most important thing, and I'll explain it right after I say it because it sounds terrible. The most important thing for me was to just know that I'm going to screw something up. I'm going to screw something up no matter what. Whether somebody hears it or not, I can't control. They may or may not know that I screwed up, but I'm gonna screw up something. So when it happens, I go, yep, yeah, there it is. It's not gonna be perfect, but I really like to pride myself on being able to recover and you know, keep going, keep playing a tune. If I miss one note, I'm not going to miss all the rest of them. I'm just going to keep focused. But sometimes the screw up, nobody hears, nobody notices, and only I notice it. So if I let that really get to me, then it turns into more screw ups that everybody hears. But you got this. Do you do the banana trick where you eat a banana and the potassium helps you with your nerves? That's an old standby. Have you heard of that one? Now we got to go to 90. Not terrible, not bad at all. All right, speeding things up. My fingers are getting a little faster. Two things I noticed. One is that my left index finger, the red rum finger, it hits the A key in different places depending on what I'm doing, and it's not the most efficient. I'd like to be a little more accurate, a little lazier about that. The other thing is I had to repeat the bottom because my ring finger and my pinky finger were not accurate. Okay, not terrible. Did my yoga this morning, so I don't have to do it tonight, and yet I'm still super tired. All right, 110. Reed's a little dry. It's also a little weak, so things can get a little nasal, like my voice. So I'll get it there, but oh, it's nice that this doesn't feel terrible. Trying to think, probably not going to make it to Skriabin today, but we'll see. I'm gonna do that same tempo. I'm gonna do that same tempo. Just a couple of little things because my left hand is still not quite accurate. Wrong microphone again. Whatever. I'm going to speed up just a little bit. I'm going to try the clarinet bong, the breath builder, and see if it improves my hands. I'm too tight, and that's usually because I have bad air. So give that a shot. Wrong mic. Left hand especially, not quite accurate. I'll try that altissimo stuff a little bit. Actually think I'm going to stop there. Normally, 120 to the quarter note, playing 16th notes in F major wouldn't be a problem at all. But you know, I ended up taking yesterday off for the new year. Was eating and then driving up from New York. So I'll give myself a little leeway there. But also it's just not super clean, so I don't want to practice it and really cement it in my brain as, you know, uneven. Not my idea of a good time. So I think what I'll do is use some of this Bela Kovac fake Bach, what is it, the Homage à J.S. Bach, to see if I can work on making things a little more even. Especially in the left hand. I'm going to start not in the left hand. I'm going to start maybe here and go down to maybe here and work on that a little bit. I see additional people. How you doing tonight? Anything exciting? You're here to listen to me practice fake Bach. With a metronome, so, you know, please don't injure me. Microphone! I'm just not used to doing that in my own practice room. I don't have to hit microphones, so, you know, my apologies. All right, YouTube viewers, I see you lurking there. What you got going on tonight? Are you clarinet players? I'm gonna speed things up a little bit. Exciting for at least one viewer. All right, let's speed that up a little more. It's getting better, a little better. My hands are ache a little bit. I'm going to move this so I can read it a little more easily. Pop you over here. And, you know, that's stuff to do. Oh, yep, you come over here. Excellent, excellent. Stop that. There we go. So I can see it a little more easily. Speed it up. I was angling too far this way, and there's a table here, so I want to angle a little further this way. All right, let's speed it up. I think we can get to 90. Got a little pinchy and things got a little rattly. The sound was rattling, the reed was rattling. I'm gonna see if I can have the air be a little faster, but less pinch here. The reason I use this thing for that is it tells you real quick if your airspeed slows. The ball just goes boop, sad little ball. But also, you know, it's surgical tubing, and you don't need to bite surgical tubing. So let's see if that helps. Any difference in the sound? Do you hear any difference in the sound? Feels slight to me. Okay, so maybe I speed it up a little bit. Fingers seem fine. I'm messing around with like giving some first notes a little more effort. Not effort, that's not true, not effort. A little more sound, just a little push into the note in terms of what the sound does. So you hear the chord changes. And then there's some places like when I go. So you hear that C, B natural A, not B flat. All right, let's try this again. We're now at 100. Yep, low notes on the clarinet are lovely. If you get too addicted to the low notes on the clarinet, they give you a bass clarinet, and you know, that's not a good idea. You're going straight to hell if you become a bass clarinet player. That said, I have a bass clarinet and I love playing it. I need to try that one again. I'm going to see if I can lighten up my arms a little bit at that speed. So let's see. I was slowing down at the end of that little, and I wanted to see if I could just do it straight while staying loose in the fingers. Not so bad, not so bad. So I'm going to see if I can still be musical, but faster. I need another shot at that. It was a little stilted from the top. One airstream. Terrible, but also not great. By the end of it, I was tense. And, you know, when you get as old and decrepit as me, you don't want to get too tense. You know, you don't want to fall over in your chair and die of a heart attack or something. What's going on? So, Jay, you are currently practicing right now, this moment? Like playing some Mushinsky, type. And you can't be listening to me because that would totally mess with your Mushinsky, I think. All right, I'm gonna try a little faster, 120. Sometimes I get ridiculous with the tempos just to see what happens. I might try that tonight. What do you do for your warm-up, Jay? What keeps your fingers moving or gets them moving and gets the sound moving? Ooh, trio piece. Have we talked about your trio? What's the trio? What trio are you playing? Only a Division 2 ensemble piece. Division 2. Does that mean like the division in the state where you're playing, or you like the difficulty level? I know some states get a little wild with their leveling. Level 6 and level 3. And then some composers, I think horribly misguided composers, are like, I'm going to write a level 2 piece. It won't have anything more than 1/16th note per measure. Anyway, yay for the scales. I love scales. Some people hate them, but I love them. I need to try this again. Kabalevsky. All right. Same birthday. Oh, nice. Could be worse. Kabalevsky. Trio. I don't know this dance by Kabalevsky, but Kabalevsky has some wild music. That's fun. Yeah, whatever's going on with your teacher. Sounds like good stuff. Got you playing Kabalevsky, Mushinsky, all the skis. That's wonderful. I'm going to make this 125 and see if my head explodes. Sometimes I like to just push it to see what happens. It really identifies. It's not for like, oh, this is really doing great things for my brain and making it perfect. No, sometimes I like to know, like, is the technical inefficiency that I think I hear, is it as bad as I think? Like, if I push it a little faster, does it cause the whole thing to explode? Sometimes. I started getting really fast, really slow at the end, and had to try to make up for it. So let me try the last bit. Hi, Song and Wind. Welcome. Let's see. If it's Song and Wind, does that make you a woodwind player? And thank you for saying hello. I appreciate it. You have wandered into a highly repetitive practice session, and I'm kind of messing around at this point to see what a faster tempo does to my fingers. Usually it causes problems, and in this case, yes. But it's also showing me that there's certain spots between bars where a hand is out of place. So witness the carnage. A few lifetimes? Sure, please do say something. I'm all ears. Well, with the no hair, the ears look big. Yeah, please do. This is you have suggestions? Right now, I think it's fairly late here for me. Been a long day, so I'm just kind of giving the fingers a little bit of a workout. Let's see, what else? This one, yeah. This section here is pretty good for ye old left hand. Oh, sure, Julius Baker. Yeah, very famous flutist and flute teacher. Philly, right, for many years? So what's going on with Julius Baker? I don't think I have any books about or by Julius Baker on this one. Although my flute books, we got, oh, wow, Song and Wind. In a few lifetimes, you might end up a flutist. Sounds like you're a flutist. If you studied with Julius Baker for 6 years, you're a flutist. So you probably already know then the Moïse Voice of the Flute. You probably have already read this. You're like a serious flutist. Wonderful. Welcome. What brings you to Twitch? Oh, now I've messed up my bookcase. All right, what other flute activities do I have? Oh, Donald Peck. I've got his bio here. That's a good one. Sorry, there are a few other Moïse books, De La Sonorité is around here someplace. That's a really good one for clarinet players. But yeah, that's great to have you. What's going on? And while you do that, I'm going to see if I can ruin my left hand. Thing with him is he didn't teach you much. You basically entered the lesson and he would listen. Was it one of these situations where you come in and you worked so hard in the intervening time, but after your last lesson that you were ready, and then I wonder what he wouldn't talk at all. I mean, 6 years, that's a long time to stay with somebody. Let me make sure I have the Julius Baker of it all correct in my brain. Yes. Chicago, New York, Phil. Born in Cleveland, died in Danbury. Oh, not too far from where I am. I don't know why I thought Philly. Oh, he studied with Kincaid and had the classes with Tabito. Okay. That makes sense. He would be harsh once a month. Okay, all right. So lots of Tabito method. Do you have a lot of music with like numbers on them, things like that? I definitely have some of that when one of my teachers was feeling particularly dogmatic. I'm looking over the what is it? I'm looking over the Wikipedia for Julius Baker because I couldn't quite remember. Played in Cleveland, went to Eastman and Curtis, and then went back to Cleveland, played second flute in the orchestra. Wow. And then later in the New York Phil. Oh, wonderful. Okay. This is why I think of Philly is because he was teaching at Curtis for so long. That makes sense. 1980 and 1991, he was there. I guess he had left a few years before. I was thinking, oh, if only Curtis would take me. False accents. Yeah. Do you talk more about that, please? I mean, might as well get free stuff. Do you mean accents that you don't mean to do, or are you speaking of like metric, showing the meter a bit more? That's something that shows up a lot in the Casals, the Casals book, and then Tabito, I guess, picked up a lot of that. So I'm super interested. I'm like on the edge of my seat here. Changing the meter. Well, yeah. So I'm going to make an assumption, and let me get back to the music here. I'm going to make an assumption that you're hearing some accents that you don't like so much. I'll say I'd love to know where they are. I'd love to know what you'd like to hear instead. I can give it a try. This sounds kind of fun. Being aware of it ends up changing meter. Frankly, sometimes I think it's okay to change the meter. Let's see. Oh, when did he pass? 2003. So, 22 years ago. A bunch of fingers come down on a weak beat note. It can produce a false accent. Yeah. I'm also interested in, I haven't listened much recently to this audio, and I'm kind of interested to know like how, with this close miking, how much pop, 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 pop there is. Jay, you should definitely be like reading this and thinking about this. This is good stuff. Bach aria. Sorry, now I'm like stuck in this in his Wikipedia page because it's so interesting. Um, Talks about his recording. Oh, Paula Robeson. Oh, Paula Robeson was one of his students. She's lovely, very nice person. Uh, I owe her an email. You know, 16th runs tend to turn in an 8/8 because you come down heavy on the 3rd, 16th. Oh. Me personally, that's what I'm assuming. Or are you speaking one? That's interesting. Yeah, I could see that, especially on the. I'm being ridiculous with the accent now. Arnold Jacobs. Oh, oh yeah, got it right here. Um, I find that the breath builder reminds me that I don't need to squeeze. And many, many years ago, I had a debilitating tendonitis. And it was absolutely really brought about because I was squeezing a lot. And sometime in my 20s, I sat down and said, "This my career's not going to last long if I don't really figure out how to deal with this." And I uh, spoke to even spoke to some doctors, but it really came down to my own personal tension, and it was this that helped me because I wasn't really sitting on the air. Um, and I was trying to make up for it with like tension in the body, and you don't need to be super tense to be musical. You need to make sounds that are musical. Um, yeah, so it's frankly I credit this and like some very very slow practice over the course of about a whole summer trying to retrain my technique. And I credit that with not giving up on being a musician and becoming a conductor or something. Um, it meant that I could still play. I will say that everything I learned um, when I was just fully tense, I I go right back to it. So the Barrio Sequenza, for instance, I played in my undergrad, and it's long, like 15 minutes long. And if I pick that up now, I go right back to being, the claw and a pretzel and like really grabbing on. So if somebody were to ask me to play that again, I think I'd need like months of just relearning how to play that piece on the clarinet because it's so like embedded in my neurons. Um, well, Song and Wen, you were a flutist. Like, cobwebs ends up being heavy chains. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Have you heard of Molly Gebrian? She's a violist and a viola teacher, a playing violist, and she's also really into neurology or the neuroscience of practicing. She put out a book recently on the neuroscience of practicing, and um, absolutely worth checking out. Uh, we we got her where I'm currently working. Cough, cough, cough. Um, just drinking some water. Nothing to see here. She's in residence here and doing a lot of sessions for us. And the neuroscience practice is really fantastic. And these conditioned responses you're talking about. If I'm practicing this way, or I'm really in a ball, um, your brain reinforces that the more you do it. So when you want to come away from it, it's really, really hard because the brain doesn't know that pathway. It wants to do the pattern that it's used to. It's really fascinating. I will say that a good bit of that is not what I do on stream. Mainly because by the time I make it here, I'm tired and I'm not always fully practicing. Sometimes I'm just trying to, shake off the cobwebs from the day. I have a job now where I still play and I play gigs, and I'm back and forth to New York for playing and otherwise, but now I have a kind of a big administrative job as well, it means that a day like today, I could go all day without playing the clarinet until like 7:30. And so this is getting me back into the swing of things. I don't have any real use or excuse for this fake Bach that I'm playing. And frankly, this is a little too fast for what I think it should be. Devices, if used correctly, it changes the response. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Something I notice, like technically, that is definitely an old response is there's this bit of space here where my body is not always ready, or my right arm is not always ready to be where it should be going into that last measure of the bar. And even now, I can feel like that tension here. So often what I'll do when I'm practicing is to speed it up. And the neurology of this is bad, but for me, the design of experiment on this is valid. Is I will speed it up to see how bad a problem it is and where it causes real issues. And that measure in particular, or that bar line in particular, and not having the right hand in place shows me where I have a bad habit, that I'm trying to squeeze it into place rather than just having great hand position and moving from the proper knuckle and having it there. Sometimes people actually need to walk away from the instrument for months in order to make the desired response dominant. Yeah. When I was teaching at a university in New York, we had a horn player who actually, his teacher, who was also in New York, had him stop playing for over a month, a couple of months, I think. I believe it was a full semester, actually, so that would be 3.5 to 4 months. In order to completely retrain his embouchure on the French horn to what this professor wanted. And boy, that's something. I will say that part of me taking this job up here in Boston was devoting my time to getting these things done, to rebuilding a program, rebuilding a few programs, and that I knew that the clarinet would not be top of mind and something that I did all the time. So I actually took November and December completely off from the clarinet. And these streams are a way that I'm getting back into it over the last, I guess, 2 weeks, is returning to the clarinet, trying to not just get the cobwebs off, but get into how do my fingers touch the horn? How can I make sure that I'm doing things safely and efficiently? Yeah, Boston's a nice place. Spend a little over half the time here and the rest of it in New York. It's not so bad. We have Paula here, sounding great on the flute and being a great teacher. But it's been a long time since I've been in Boston. I was here for my undergrad and my first grad degree more than 20 years ago. So it's been really, really nice to be back and make music with people. Wondering, somebody had asked about, sorry, just checking something. Oh, there's your Mushinsky, Jay, if you're still here. I kept that out. Oh, the Stark. I was doing those for some staccato etudes. Somebody was asking about the Rose etudes last time I was on the stream, but then I had to take a bit of time. Well, I'm focusing on it now. You know, once I get back into the swing of things. Actually, I think I have about 2 weeks before the concerts start back up, and it's like Scriabin, Poem of Ecstasy, and then we're off. So it's a nice time to really think about, oh, what's this doing? How is this happening? And Scriabin, and then I think there's like a Carnival of the Animals, and I forget what's after that. But for the first time in a long time, I had a couple of months where I didn't have to play, and then I have a little bit of time as the concerts start to build back up. So go over a few parts of the second movement. Jay, of course. What was the problem? What was Jay? What section of the second movement? We can, if you want, we can chat about it a little bit. But the way it works is that we're supposed to have a crystal clear concept of the sound in our mind. Yep. Including rhythm, phrasing, dynamics. Yep. Like a good conductor. You want to know what it should sound like, hopefully, before you get to the clarinet. I mean, you with the flute, obviously. Seventh cranial nerve sends the signal to the body. Interesting. Jay, I hope you're reading all of this stuff from Song and Wind. It's good stuff. Absolutely stuff you should keep in mind. Start of the solo part. Oh, you need to smooth it out. What do you mean smooth it out? Are you talking about, can you give me really specific language for what you want to do or what you want to smooth out? I'm being kind of a pain in the butt about that, because often the process of really coming up with specific language about the way you want it to sound means that you now know what you want it to sound like, and you can more easily figure it out. Any conscious effort will simply get in the way. Yeah. Depends. Depends on what you're doing, I think, Song. I mean, I think you're really going to enjoy this Molly Gabrian book. I had learned a lot about the neurochemistry, about how we learn to do things, hand-eye coordination, or the patterns, neural firing patterns, by reading another book. I believe it had something to do with mastery. It was not like a Don Green book, where it talked about how you're building basically insulation on these neural pathways to allow the signals to move faster and faster and faster, up to thousands of times faster than they would normally through this brain matter, at which point you're moving faster than your conscious mind can keep up. So these are, automated responses. So myelin, yes, thank you. Couldn't remember. I kept thinking melanin. I'm like, this is not melanin, Chris. It's one of my signs that I'm getting older and that I'm really tired at night is when I can't come up with the right word. That's probably the best time to get on stream and talk to whoever shows up, right? Is when you can't remember words. But yeah, the myelin action. I'll say that sometimes that's the case. Switching from the register C to non-register notes. Be some blips and just how to work on switching from those notes. Hi, Jeffrey. Better armature and fingerwise stuff is also very interesting. Yeah, Jay, there's really good stuff going on here. I have a hope and a dream that Song will, next time we're on stream, that Song will return. Julius Baker was the flute teacher for a long time at Curtis and Juilliard, and Song isn't going to say it, so I'm going to say it. If you got into Julius Baker's studio, you were a very good flutist. So we're hearing some top tier stuff here. I probably should be copying these texts. I don't know. I'll figure out if I can copy them later. So you're talking, Jay, Song, by the way, thank you so much. This is like a huge contribution. I had hoped that this, when I stream, that we can find a way to educate each other, and this is great stuff. Jay, do you have like a bar number in particular that you're talking about? I think right there in that penultimate bar in the first line, that's a good one. What's going on with my 48 and 51? Oops, that's not the opening at all. Let me go find 48 through 51. Oh, I see. I just misunderstood. So it's some blips. Like you're just, it's not clean fingers from the... Gurgles. Are the blips getting back to the C? Is that the idea? Like little grunts. Let me see if I can reproduce the grunt. Or it's not sounding at all. Sometimes that's a super common thing that would happen in a passage like that, going back up to the C. If that's it, I have some thoughts for you for ways you might be able to address that. Oh, thank you, song. I will say also that getting this light, my contacts start to dry out and things turn a little blurry. So switching down like from the B flat to C sharp and then back to the C. That's a different idea then. Do you think it has to do with the timing of your fingers releasing the B flat and going to the C sharp? Oops. That's out of tune. Interesting. I would really, if I were you, I would play just the B flat and the C. Maybe even play them separately. But not out of tune like me on the B flat. And then see what you need to do to get from one to the other. I think in that case, there's also some cheating you can do. Sorry, I forgot the wrong microphone again. But another thought I had is, are you using resonance fingers on the B flat? Are you doing things like here, wait. If you're adding fingers in different places to create like a different color of sound or adjust the pitch, that could also be part of what makes it difficult. What fingering are you using for that B flat? Song, before you typically play, how much of a breath do you take in terms of your vital capacity? Ballpark figure. Totally depends. It depends on what I need to do before I take my next breath. I don't tank up completely, and depending on what I'm doing. If I'm doing, hope I can remember this. Nope, can't remember it. I was trying to think of an excerpt where I tank up. Oh, the... Beethoven 6. I will tank up like 60, like 2/3, 66%, and then top it off before the last breath, before I do that. Before I do the... So before that last breath, I would sip, but that sip is like topping off the tank. I've spent a lot of time thinking about my breath. I try not to ever, I don't know if I would ever go and really suck air. Like I've watched a lot of those Jacobs videos, and I will say that I am not fully convinced all the time about the aggressive amount of air that a lot of the students end up taking. But I do think often it sounds better, so I mess around with that. How empty do I allow myself to get? While playing in a concert or rehearsal, I don't. I'm never fully empty because I need that air to keep pushing air. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of and that, and you can hear the air passing over the vocal cords. Some of the things I will do is a lot of the exercises I do with this are more about training myself to take in that air and use it without the added stress, and to be able to take air quickly and in a relaxed way. So if I'm going to do just working on the inhale and exhale, and sometimes turning the inhale into the exhale quickly. So much water and keys. Oh, there's more. I'm not interested in going below 25%. I don't feel like I can get the sound I need to. And frankly, I'm playing in orchestra these days most of the time, although when I get back to the full concert cycle, it'll be a little bit more even. Where's that last one? There it is. Keep forgetting using the wrong microphone. We'll all suffer through together, thank you. Fingers after playing it a few times through, how would you say to work on it? Let me know. Did you tell me what fingering you're using for the B flat, Jay? Because I think that's important. If you're using resonance fingerings, that's going to make things more complicated, and you might want to find a resonance fingering that's a little easier for that. Or you can just cheat altogether and go for A in the side, the third up or second down side trill key for that B flat. Yeah, I mean, I think there are problems with basically every technique ever for everything. And I find it useful for certain things. I think my best inhale doesn't feel like an inhale at all. It feels like, if I'm sitting properly, it feels like I'm up here, even though my sternum is here, but my hands are down here. It feels like this just drops. That's my best inhale. Exhale, best inhale. So I'm not actually inhaling when I do that properly. using that kind of inhale where I'm actually just kind of releasing everything, it pulls the air in. I'm not physically trying to go, it pulls the air in and I can turn it around faster and I don't have to exhale before I pull in the next air. So I can have a very short breath that I patterned after flute breaths. I'm trying to cheat and steal that from flute players who don't have the reed and the mouthpiece, pardon hiccups. They can, pull it in quickly. Oh, I'm missing text. So much resistance. We don't have resistance on the inhale when playing. You don't have resistance. Some of us do. In the way it adds some sort of resistance, right? A key and the register key. You tried the third side key. It's really flat. Okay, so you're not using any J. You're not using any resonance fingering. So that actually simplifies things a little bit. I wonder if a phrasing idea might help. I don't, for me, and this is for me, that B flat and that C are connected to each other, and maybe the C sharp goes up to the C, but really, we've got something else going on, right? We know the real tune here is... that tune, right? But that means that you don't really want to take that B flat and blow down to the C sharp. Right? You don't want to really dig in, and Mushinsky gives you a hint by putting that tenuto over the B flat and the C, so you know that it's B flat to C, and that we've got something else going, right? He's having two clarinet players play, and you get to be both clarinet players. So I might think more about letting that B flat be, letting it taper a little bit before digging into the C sharp. Maybe I'm explaining it well. Let me give it a try. I gave up on that B flat. That's part of why it's relatively smooth, is because that B flat, I'm thinking about how it relates to the C, not the C sharp. I think that's a little weird. Could you try it? See what happens? See what happens if you're thinking only about that tune on top. Maybe even play it a couple of times and see if separating that lower line and thinking about that phrase helps. It may or may not. You could be like, I don't know. I've never quite given a lesson on something when I couldn't hear what was happening or see what was happening. So the best I could do is take an educated guess. Even during COVID, I was like relentless with my students. I'm like, get up, get really close to the camera, and I want to see your fingers, or let me see your mouth, or let me see your air, or make them go far away so I could hear what it sounds like far away from the microphone. But those are options. Song, are you still playing flute? Are you after Julius Baker for 6 years? Did you go on to be a flute player? Did you decide to there were other ways to spend your time that were worthwhile? I think the answer is there always are other ways to spend your time that are worthwhile. Just some of us pick our poison, and it's music. I hope that was helpful, Jay. I don't know. It's a little bit of a strange situation, but I'm very happy to help. Gosh, such a good piece. Also, Jay, that Mushinsky, I think Mushinsky was playing piano, I think. I could be wrong, let me know. But Mitchell Lurie playing the clarinet, that recording is just beautiful. And my old friend let me know that Bob Stoken played this at I want to say I think he said it was the Oklahoma conference, and maybe someone out there has a recording of that. It's bound to be, because Bob had a lot of lovely recordings. If you don't know Bob Listokin, it's Robert Listokin, Listokin, and boy, is listening to anything that's on YouTube that's found its way there totally worth your time. There, if I remember correctly, there is at least one recording of the Bartok contrasts. Woof. Like this guy, beautiful sound, beautiful sound. When I went to study, after studying with him in high school, I went elsewhere to study, and people kept asking me about him and his beautiful sound. A little better? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes a technical solution, a solution to a technical problem is a musical solution. Sometimes it's not. Often it's not. But in this case, I think it might be. I'm trying to think of like a way if you wanted to ever like send me like a recording of a problem area. Maybe I would like to try that sometime on stream, is like have people send me recordings of like their problem areas, and we can kind of go through them on stream, and we can like watch them or listen to them, and I think that could be neat. Do you think that's something that would be useful? Should I figure out how to do that technologically? That's, there we go again with the words and the problem saying the words. Oh, all right. I don't know. I think I've gotten enough today. I think I've gotten enough clarinet. I don't want to, I'm not super interested in a marathon tonight, and I'm not really looking to learn a bunch of pieces or anything like that. I was just trying to, think about my fingers, think about my air. Done-ish with this piece Saturday, though. Well, we all have new things. What are you learning next? You're talking about your Kabalevsky trio, but what's next on the agenda? Also, there are more movements. Yeah. My terrible playthrough of this last week. Woof. Number 4, the 4th movement is so beautiful on this. Pieces for your school band that you'll be playing. Yeah, but your teacher has you, at least has something in mind, unless it's more movements of this. The 4th movement, the opening is really beautiful. I'm not the biggest fan of the Allegro Energico to the end. It's not my favorite, but it's not terrible. Oh, wait a minute. My part is not the whole thing. I'm missing stuff. Well, I guess Mushinsky made me pay for getting this PDF, and now I don't have all the parts, all the pages. Percussion expert, private lessons teacher, is the one who gave me this piece. Yeah, that's, sorry, I probably was not very clear, but yeah, let's, I'm sure if your teacher gave you Mushinsky, your teacher's got some lofty goals for you on the clarinet, so I'm super interested to know what's next. Plus, after Saturday, you're going to need to practice something. I assume you're practicing your Behrman. At least the thirds. I just did the scale and move on. I didn't do in my thirds today. I'm being a bad student, but I think my teacher's not paying attention, probably because I haven't had a lesson with him, my last teacher, for 20-something years. Oh, you're playing the Kabalevsky. Wow, you're so Sunday is like you're just taking Sunday off. You're just going to try to recover from the skis and call it a day. 3 hours later to Seoul. Okay, all right. You should be fine. I wonder if just going to check and see. Let's do this. Oh, yeah, he had a lot of dances, Kabalevsky, right? Uh, you know, at least 12. I'm wondering, I don't know this trio arrangement that you're doing. Do you know who arranged it? There's just so many. Opus 27, at least 15 dances. Lots of great piano music, I'm sure. Lots of good stuff. Okay. I think my YouTube. Huh. YouTube's running pretty laggy, I think. Um, I think I'm heading to get some tea, read a book, and probably go to sleep soon after my dog gets her evening brief stroll outside. So thank you so much for chatting, Jay. I'm super happy to see you. If I don't see you before Saturday, you got this. And remember, whatever happens, you just keep going. It's going to be lovely. Every moment you're playing is a moment that you have a chance to do something special, just moment by moment. Uh, and but I'll be here before Saturday. And Song and Wind, thank you so much. You have really wonderful things to pass on to us. I'm super happy that you came by. It's lovely to speak. It's lovely to speak with you, but also it feels like a little bit of a little bit of speaking with Julius Baker and Jacobs as well. So super super lovely instance this evening. So everybody, have a lovely night or day wherever you are in the world. And was Sunlin Philo, right? Happy New Year. Um, had to say that a lot yesterday. Probably going to be working off that meal for a while. So, good night. Bye.